You do something 500 times, I'm guaranteeing you're going to have lots of mistakes made and lots of lessons learned. JC and I over here at the Loan Officer Podcast, we have recorded over 500 episodes over the past 5 years, and we have learned valuable business lessons. We have learned valuable lessons for mortgage loan originators, and today we're going to touch on the top 10 lessons that we've learned after 5 years of recording the Loan Officer Podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children 18 plus, you are tuned in to the Loan Officer Podcast with me, Dustin Owen, and my main man,
JC.
John Coleman.
Yo, what's poppin'?
It's getting ready to crush it this summer.
What?
Yes.
It's spring.
It's spring. It's May.
Tell the people.
We're in May, and we live in Florida. It's hot AF already.
Tell the people what happened to me.
What, you have to get a new car?
Yeah, my car blew up.
Yeah, John, JC's car blew up. That's
in
what
between
happens.
episode recordings, my car blew up. So now I need to get a new one.
Now JC has to get a new car, which means we need to onboard more coaching students, JC.
Yeah,
That's
clearly,
how this works.
Steven needs to hit the phones hard, please.
Unfortunately for Steven doesn't have to hit anything hard. Literally,
Steven went back into a triple play.
Steven worked for 11 hours last week, had 13 new members join. Like, I don't think that's work.
Have you seen him on a call? Mark said he sat there and watched him. He was like, yo, what the fuck? He was like, well, how did you do that? Flabbergasted.
The product sells itself, John.
Well said, Dustin.
Literally, when you're offering 8 coaching calls a month, when you're offering a coach on duty Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, you're bringing in social media experts. You're bringing in experts when it comes to neurolinguistics.
How can you not be a member?
When every coach is a top producer,
right?
And the price is right. Like, this investment is ridiculously low.
Do you know what I realized, Dustin? I think when you were coming up, nobody wanted to like teach the up and comers because everybody wanted to hold on to their golden goose or pot, their golden pot of gold or whatever.
No, nobody likes up and comers.
Yeah, but
even
now,
still today, nobody likes them.
We do because we embrace.
We love them.
I know,
but I you know what I love most?
What's that?
All mortgage originators. Dude, right now, so right now, shout out to Phil. So Phil runs a $100 million branch.
Shout out Phil.
Okay, Phil is in Branch Manager Boost with me and 5 other producing branch managers. I freaking love it. Right? We're doing elite coaching with originators that are doing $40, $50, $60 million a year in production.
What?
Yes. Like, look, the baseline, the community is for everybody. The TLOP originator coaching community, there's people that were recently paying $3,000 a month with some of the coaching companies I respect the hell out of, but they're at a place in their life and their career where, like, I don't need to be yelled at. I don't need to spend $3,000 a month right now.
Yeah.
Right? And they come to the community because, like, this is perfect. Right? It's $3,000 a year. Now, there's many people who are going to start with us and they're going to actually graduate, and then they're going to go spend $3,000 a month to get yelled and screamed at. And by the way, they may double and triple their business. Then they'll get to a point they're like, you know what? There's this thing called academic inbreeding. DO talks about it. Maybe it's time for me to come home for a couple more years.
Yeah.
Right? I don't look at TLOP as an end-all be-all solution. I think it's a great home for many loan originators. Yes, those that are getting started in their career, because of our price point, it's a great way to come grow with us. But they may start with a monthly membership, then they'll enter into a boot camp. Then that boot camp may take them into elite coaching. They may stay with us for 5, 6, 7 years. Then they may go off and entertain being coached elsewhere, which I actually recommend. And maybe after 4 or 5 years, they come back to the community. Yeah. So, but no, in hindsight, not in hindsight, in foresight, as well as in hindsight, just in general, no, I feel bad for the young, hungry, lost, scared, because I know what it was like.
Right.
Like, I know what it was like. And I guess what you're maybe getting at is, I don't want everyone else to have to go through what I went through. I want people to have access to this information, and I want to make it affordable. Yep. So, how do we even get on that? Do you know?
I said something about my car blowing up, and you used that as a way in to pimp out coaching.
Yes.
Like you always do.
Like I always do.
God.
Well, there's nothing else to talk about. Baseball season's become boring. We're still dealing with shitty basketball playoffs. You know what I am excited about?
What?
By the time this airs, it would have already happened.
UFO?
UFO?
Yeah, UFL.
No, that's garbage too. No, the NFL draft. The NFL draft. I just turned down a big booster event at UCF because of the NFL draft.
My question is, if the NFL went away, they find a way to talk about that sport 367 days a year.
Well, that's ESPN. That's mainstream media. I don't care if you're Fox News, ESPN, or CNN. I probably don't like you because we don't need to be hearing what you're talking about.
Aaron Rodgers all
24/7, 365. Yeah. It's just not needed.
Also, by the way, I think this is the last time we're going to be recording in this.
It is?
Yeah, so let's get emotional or something.
Say goodbye to this studio.
I give a shit.
I just hope that the next studio is the end-all be-all
This
studio.
podcast setup has been like living in a broken home, like a broken family. Every 4 months, I'm uprooted, got to move somewhere else.
So is this the time that we become homeowners and we're no longer renters? Johnny doesn't have to move schools every year?
Jesus Christ. Every other month, it's like, I got to make new friends. How do I enter the building? Closed after 6 p.m.,
Yeah, but I think this is going to be it. I think this one's going to be a nice rock for us.
We ain't got no choice. We ain't got no choice.
You got plenty of choices.
I'm not taking down these fucking panels, man. These are staying on. I'm not touching this shit again. So if you get charged for the bill to lower, because I'm not cleaning out this shit. Most of this shit's gonna stay in here. Like when they do like zombie house flipping and they go in there, it's like, who left all his furniture? It's gonna be like this. I'm not lugging this shit around. I'm not renting another U-Haul, all of it's brand new top of the line. So Steven really needs you to hop on the phones and sell some memberships. Anyway, let's get into it, Dustin.
All right, let's get into it because I'm under a time crunch. But here's what's really cool about today's episode is this was asked of me for the Michigan Mortgage Lenders Association if I would come and do a presentation on the podcast. I'm like, look, I think telling the story of the podcast is a really cool, fun story, especially for those that tune in. And I think those who have never tuned in, because we are the best kept secret in the mortgage industry. Yeah. I think for those that get to hear me tell a story, it's going to make them want to tune in. But I was telling Michigan, I go, look, I love the request and I love the challenge of having to go write something new because I have a catalog of 6 or 8 greatest hits that I go to. So I want to add to that catalog and hopefully this will be the next greatest hit. But I had to find a way to tell the story while also tying it down with business lessons and making it relevant for mortgage loan originators. So today we're going to talk a little bit about what that means. I'm going to go give the presentation to Michigan in a couple weeks. And then when we got to Vegas for Mastermind Summit, which by the way, if you're not registered,
the hell are you doing?
Go to our website. You get to hang out with JC. It's the one time we let him come.
One time a year.
Yes, he comes out in public. We make him smile and be nice for at least 30 minutes a day. JC will be there. The entire TLOP crew will be there. I'm presenting. It's one of my favorite events of the year. It's Mastermind Summit. It's in Las Vegas. This year it's at the Bellagio. Yeah. You can go to our website, tloponline.com. Under events, it's there. You can click, you can register, and you can come learn with us, network with us, and hang out with us. But when I'm out there, that presentation is going to be from 500 episodes to millions and all the lessons learned. So cool. So today we're just going to run through quickly and explain to the audience what we mean and some of the things that we learned. So the first thing that I have on my list.
Well, before you get started, speaking of speakers, we got to plug our homeboy, Steve Richmond. So plug away, Steve.
Today's episode is sponsored by our friend, Steve Richmond. If you are looking for a phenomenal presenter or an MC for your next event, go to steverichmond.com and check him out. Steve has spoken in every state in the U.S. That's over 500,000 audience members and over 1,000 companies. This dude needs no caffeine. Here's an example of some of his current keynotes. Positive Negativity, a cynic's guide to motivation, success, and happiness. If you want to contact Steve, hello@steverichmond.com. That's STEVERICHMAN.com, steverichmond.com. I guarantee you won't regret the decision to book Steve for your next event. Shout out to Steve Richmond, today's show sponsor.
Shout out, my boy.
So when I'm telling the story, the first thing that comes to my mind, if I try to do this in a story arc manner, is pick up on what the universe is telling you, right? The people around you normally aren't blowing smoke, right? They normally aren't. Now, your friends and family, watch out for them. They try to protect you by holding you down. They don't do it maliciously, but they're fearful that you're going to change and they don't want you to change. They're fearful that you may get hurt and they don't want to see you get hurt. But my first lesson that I learned when I'm looking back over the past 5 years, it's like, well, how did you end up podcasting? And I tell the story about how we ended up, like how you and I met, what I tried to do, which led me to want to hire you, and then what happened in our interview. Like all that will be talked about. But really, it boils down to me listening to the people around me. Mm-hmm. I had borrowers when I was actively originating. I had borrowers that straight up were asking me for video content because they're like, dude, that was so good. I wish you had that recorded. Mm. I had loan officers because at that time I had 7 branches. We had 60 LOs, and I was instrumental in coaching them and guiding them. They would come in my office, those that worked in the local branch that I worked in, and they're like, hey, Dio, can I ask you a question? Then they would want to record me. I had a CEO once literally say to me, now he was a bottle of wine, if not 2 into the night, but it still resonated with me. He said, I want to take you on the road and I want to introduce you to the entire industry and make you the face of our organization. I was like, that's pretty awesome. Like that's a compliment. And then I had another CEO, because that guy didn't last too long, unfortunately, come in and he got to watch me speak and present. Now at the time, I was just speaking and presenting for my own people, right? It was the Florida sales rally. We had 5 branches and probably 60 people in attendance. And all 60 were originators who worked for my partners, David and Mike and I. And whatever I did, right? I did my thing. And afterwards, he was like, Dio, I got to tell you. And I just met this guy. He goes, I got to tell you, my old company, I would have paid $5,000 for you to come in and do that. I was like, for like 45 minutes of work? He's like, yeah. I was like, so lesson number 1 is all of us, if we put our head in a swivel, like we got stuff going on around us. If we just listen to those people, the universe will ultimately point you in the right direction if you allow yourself to take it in and do something with the information.
You should say that to loan officers that complain about making content and they say, I have nothing to make content about. There's nothing to talk about.
There's plenty to talk about. Now, number 2, like lessons learned from us podcasting together, and I would say successfully, find a partner. Find a partner. Don't try to do things all on your own. Partners hold you accountable. Partners are sometimes the reason why you show up that day. Partners also keep you in check. They keep you balanced, and you can play off each other. So I would say find a partner. Without you, I can't imagine this show would be this show. And I'm not saying you, the character you play on TV, which by the way isn't a character, but it's everything that you brought to the table that I didn't bring to the table. I think it works.
Correct.
Number 3, and you helped me do this.
Oh shit.
Yeah, believe it or not, I gotta give John credit sometimes.
All the time.
Be authentically you.
Yes.
Be authentically you. Look,
Yes.
for the first 40 years of my life, I was a sellout. And I still can be a sellout. Look, if it's going to get a laugh, I'm going to say it. Right? If it's going to make people like me, I'm going to wear it. If it's going to potentially lead to a sale, I'm going to act that way. And you know, if I want that girl to like me, I'm going to tell her the things she wants to hear.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a terrible way to live your life.
Oh my.
Terrible life. And it's rough to try to do a business that way. So you have taught me how to be authentically me, and now I get to teach loan officers, like, look, you don't have to be all things to all people. Be all things to your people. That doesn't mean you're not nice. It doesn't mean that you're not professional. It doesn't mean that you're not a first-class service provider, but you don't have to be all things to all people. So know who you are, be authentically you, and then go hard in the paint and attract the people who like that and dominate serving those types of people. Dominate working and partnering with those types of people.
I like the Waka Flocka drop there.
Yeah, you like that, right? Going hard in the paint?
Good for you, Dustin.
Hey, sometimes.
Every once in a while. A blind squirrel gets a nut.
Yeah. Next lesson, stick to your plan. Have a plan and stick to it. Not saying you're going to have this like super clean plan where like all the details are laid out. No, but your plan for you and I was we decided 2 episodes a week, every single week for 2 years. And we gave ourselves a break in case of emergency after 12 months.
Well, I said that at first because at the time you were my boss, so I just had to agree with you.
Well, correct. Your plan was the minute that this becomes like totally not worth it, you're out the door. The minute something better came along, John was out the door.
You got to look for something better, damn it.
Thank God. Thank God you didn't go looking.
I thought somebody by now would have poached me. After 500, like, hey, that kid has talent. I'm going to hire that kid. I'm going to attract him away from Dustin.
John, I'm still waiting for you and I to get discovered. Like, at what point is iHeartMedia going to come in, or Spotify is going to come in and be like, fuck, it could be XM Radio or Sirius, whatever they're called now.
I know, right?
Looks at us and says, I want that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just because you saw the movie Selena and all the other people getting discovered, I don't think that's how it happens in real life.
Like, Sean Hannity was trash. I mean, he may be still trash today, depending on who you're talking to, but he was trash, unknown 20 years ago, and someone found him on like public radio in Georgia, and all of a sudden gave him a chance to be Sean Hannity.
Well,
yeah, one day. I hope it's us being discovered.
It's going to be us, yeah. When we get to episode 1,000, here's what we learned after 10 years of podcasting. It's going to take some time, everybody. Just be patient.
Yeah, but I mean, we had a plan and we stuck to it. And we knew we didn't have all the answers, but we knew that we were willing to do it for 2 years. And after a year, if we weren't good at it, if we hated doing it, we had to be both. Because if we hated doing it, but we were good at it, we were going to stick with it. At least in my mind.
Yes, this is all the world according to Dustin.
Yes,
by the way.
The world according to Dustin Owen. So what we learned is stick to a plan. And by the way, it took us 41 episodes. 41 episodes before we kind of figured out who we were and found our cadence. So I ask people all the time, and I'm going to say this in the presentation, what are you willing to do 41 times without truly knowing what you're doing? Yeah, we were willing to go 41 times, 21 weeks. The third thing, it kind of correlates to what I just said. Recognize you don't have all the answers. Like, you and I are launching a second YouTube channel. We're partnering with Dave Hochberg out of Chicago. We know steps 1, 2, and 3. It's a 5-step process.
Yeah, we don't know the remaining.
We don't know step 4 and 5. We're okay with that. We are okay flying to Chicago, John having to deal with public transportation in a city that sometimes doesn't have all the best smells. We are fine with that, because we knew that we weren't ever going to get the project off the ground if we didn't at least get to step 4.
Correct.
But we're fine not knowing all the answers. What we're not fine with is not trying to figure out or discover all the answers.
Correct.
I said this on the last episode, but it correlates to this episode. Think big, and when you're done,
think bigger.
Think bigger. Yes. Like, think big, and when you're done, think bigger. Sometimes in order to do so, you have to change the rooms you're in. You have to change the people that you're hanging out with.
That's the biggest part.
And once you start making networking your priority, and once you start changing the rooms that you're in, the parties you go to, the events you attend, the clients you call on, etc., all of a sudden what you'll recognize is, oh my gosh, all this time I've been playing small. All this time I've been thinking too small. So think big. This is an Alex Hormoziism, right? We started doing it, and I can't tell you I did it because I listened to Alex, and I can't tell you I did it because I was smart or experienced like Alex Hormozi, but he now coaches this and teaches this. Give away your best shit for free.
Yeah.
Literally, our best stuff is for free on YouTube.
Yeah.
Like, why spend $3,000 a year to be a part of our coaching community when you can go sift through 500 episodes and get it all for free? Now, I would tell you it's a convenience charge to get the best of the best. Plus, when you're a part of our coaching community, you're not just being coached by me. I mean, we have Doc Stacy, we have Gwen Swain, we have Brian Kimball, we have Ross Woods, we have Christy Service, right? Like we have Rebecca Richardson. We're bringing in Jamie Miller. So it's not just us that you're learning from. And that's a big, important thing to me because of my philosophy and theory on academic inbreeding. If all you learn from was from me or from me and John, it's going to get a little bit redundant over time and we can no longer be the cool uncles. But you and I do give away all of our shit for free. So when you're talking to your borrowers, you're talking to your realtors, give them your best stuff, like your best ideas, your best service, so that they want to refer you, so that they want to come do business with you. Be willing to share your best stuff with your competitors, because you know what they probably won't do? Implement it. They probably won't implement it. But if you can join a mastermind and you can share your best ideas to get their best ideas, even if their best ideas don't hold a candle to yours, I bet you still benefited. At a minimum, you now have somebody that respects you, looks up to you, who potentially would want to come work for your team because you're willing to give away your best stuff. So that's something I think I'm going to incorporate pretty hardcore into the presentation that we do in Las Vegas. Let the haters hate. That's easy for you. It's
That's
hard for me.
easy for me. It's hard for y'all mortgage professionals to really like block out that noise.
Yeah, like early on, here's what happened. John and I were on a podcast, and all of my friends and my colleagues were like, "Oh, how cute!" Like almost like pat the little kid on the head and be like, "Oh, that's so nice."
Little Jimmy has a podcast.
Yeah. Then we started gaining some traction, and they're like, how's the podcast going? Like it came less about like, "Oh, that's cute, ha ha ha," to "Oh shit, they're onto something." So a little jealousy crept in.
Mm-hmm.
Then when it took off. Which is
to
crazy to say it took off, because I still believe we are the best kept secret in the mortgage industry. Do us a favor. Let's not be the best kept secret. Let's share the shit out of this.
Share the shit.
Yes. Let's get this in front of all of our friends in the mortgage space, as well as those that are outside the mortgage space that would still find the content entertaining and somewhat beneficial to their lives. But let the haters hate, because you can't be all things to all people. Some will, some won't. Who cares? Move on. But it was hard for me early on to, have people give corrective criticism, to have trolls that were trolling.
Tallest tree gets the most wind.
Yeah, that's what you're trying to tell me. But what I also had to figure out is I may also need to get new friends. And by the way, you read many business books, and I mentioned Alex Hormozy, who's one of my favorite people right now to follow. Yeah, they talk about that. And that's difficult, because I'm a loyal person. I love my people. But if my people aren't supporting me, or my people aren't into the same things that I'm into, like, what value is being brought? And if I'm around people, and this is what you and I experience, I especially, people loved me for the version of me that they met me. Right? So like, if I met you when I was party boy, drinking a handle of Crown every single week, and you meet the me to today that doesn't touch Crown Royal, that tends to sangria or IPAs is kind of my go-to, that person may be like, "Oh, what happened? DO used to be so much fun."
Yeah.
Right? When you met me and I was hardcore originating loans, and I was running 5 branches, I didn't have a podcast, I wasn't traveling the country speaking, didn't have a coaching company. And you meet me now, you're like, "Oh, you think you're Mr. Big Shot, huh?" I'm like, "No," I said, "I've just evolved."
You dress a lot better. I'll give you that.
I dress less stuffy, is what you're saying. Yeah.
Them Tom James, them suits don't come out the closet like they used to, huh?
They don't. The problem is a lot of those clothes are a decade old, and now they're out of style.
I can tell.
I don't like wearing things that are out of style.
Dude.
And I haven't come off the wallet to go actually buy new clothes, because the mortgage industry's been in the shitter since 2022.
Bro, you got so much extra fabric in them pants and some of them coats. I'm pretty sure you can take in, like, you can hem that up.
Yeah, that costs money. And I'm trying to be conservative with my money, because the past 4 years haven't been necessarily like robust with money falling out of the sky.
Yeah.
I'm not crying poor, and I'm still a top earner.
I can see you've been wearing that Housing Wire hoodie for quite a while, man.
Yeah, I love my friends at Housing Wire.
Shout out Housing Wire.
Shout out to Housing Wire. Yeah, we have a great partnership. I mean, their periodical, their news is my go-to news source. So
There it is.
yeah, I rep it because it's comfy.
And you can't afford new clothes. So
And you make fun of me when I come wearing my Tom James stuff. But no, like, let the haters hate is definitely a big one. And then like the last 3 is, look, one to many is where it's at. Like, this podcast is one to many.
Yeah.
We do one episode. We have 35 to 5,500 people tuning in as the best kept secret in mortgage. Webinars, your own YouTube channel, Lunch and Learns, one to many is where it's at. Make anything you do about them, right? This show is not about JC and DO. It's about you guys. It's about entertaining you. It's about educating you. It's about bringing you all of this knowledge. Don't get me wrong. We're both pretty self-centered. We both have our own objectives and our own end goals, but first and foremost needs to be the people. So when you're out doing your thing, make it about the people, not about you.
Yeah, nobody wants to hear about your interest rates or your products.
Yeah, and then finally, just remember, your net worth is the sum of your network.
That's why I ain't got no money.
Now, that's why John ain't got no money. That right? He has no friends, very few friends. Not a robust network. And if he has one, he doesn't lean into it the way I would.
Right. So
John knows celebrities. John knows professional athletes, and John doesn't do anything to lean into that for his own personal gain.
Yeah.
Yeah. But on my end, like I make networking my passion. I make doing for others my passion, because I'm collecting favors, I'm collecting friends, and I'm trusting the process. I know that putting $2,000 a month into my 401k or IRA is not going to make me rich next year. But if I do it for 30 or 40 years, I'm going to have $5 or $6 million when I go to retire.
Oh shit.
That's pretty nice.
That's how much I should have had it.
Yeah, that's pretty nice. So what I'm trying to do with this show and with you is we're expanding that network, because over time, we didn't get rich last month. We still ain't got any money today. We made no money last year, the year before that, and we probably will end this year not making any money. Break even, right? We'll break even because we're reinvesting back in the business. But I'm playing the long game. What's 26 through 36 going to look like? Yes, when we're the most influential people in mortgage, that's going to be pretty. That's going to be pretty. So anyhow, this is what 500 episodes of podcasting has done for me and JC, whether he likes it or not. That's probably all the time we have for these people. But hey, do us this favor. If you have not been to our website, just go check it out. TLOPonline.com, TLOP online.com. That's where you can sign up for our newsletter. That's where you can inquire about our next free masterclass. That's where you're going to see where John and I are speaking next. TLOP Online is the base for everything that we're doing. Make sure you go to our YouTube channel, which is the Loan Officer Podcast, aka TLOP. Subscribe, because on that YouTube channel, there's tons of additional content on top of just these podcast episodes. And make sure you're sharing this content. Follow me on LinkedIn, first name Dustin, last name Owen. Don't bother looking for John. He is incognito and next to impossible to find. He is John Coleman. I am Dustin Owen. That is all the time we have for you today, and we do look forward to catching you on the next episode. Peace.